Hi guys, it's Claudia from Hands to Paws. How are you on this pre-holiday evening, or a couple of evenings? 'Twas right before Christmas, and all the dogs howled, or all the dogs were silent. Are you prepared? Have you protected the Christmas water bowl? That's the Christmas water for the Christmas tree. Has anybody lost ornaments? I tried. I started at the beginning of December talking about safety for dogs and ornaments. I'm curious, did anybody lose any ornaments? Because this is the time to lose those precious ornaments. Every night I have this problem. We're going to talk about dog behavior tonight in a couple of aspects, but I wanted to review some, hey guys, hey, I wanted to review some Christmas safety, especially as family, or if you're going to somebody's house or people are coming to your house with the dogs. I wanted to remind you of dogs like to door dodge out the door, vroom. So you might want to set up the expectations for your guests, or if you're going to somebody's house with the dog, what those expectations are. You might want to create a safe, quiet environment for your dog. You want to make sure food is put up, that your guests know, or that you know the rules of somebody's house in order to not have problems with the beloved Angels on 4 this holiday. And don't forget that your babies love Christmas presents. So lots of doggy Christmas presents to go around during the holidays. And also keep in mind that mistletoe, holly, and poinsettias are toxic to dogs, and they are opportunists. So if you're leaving delicious things around, they might want to take a nibble of that too, because they know they're your best friend. So I just wanted to start with a review of that as we get very close to the holidays. So I see people are on. I don't see anybody saying anything yet. And we're going to review a few things. So in a grooming salon, I'm streaming. Let me do this first. I'm streaming on 3 platforms tonight. Claudia's page, What's Up Dog on YouTube. That's capital W, capital U, capital D, as in a dog named Wood, and on Hands to Paws Facebook page. And I'm streaming through StreamYard, who I love, and I follow Think Media for my ideas and how to become a YouTuber and to deliver really good content. So if you're curious about what I'm doing or how I'm doing it, please feel free to ask. And if you'd like to join, please, all you have to do is send me your email. And thank you guys. And if I'm not seeing anything yet, so you know how I'm still glitchy until I get this all worked out. And if you want to send me an email, please feel free. I will bring you live. If you have a wonderful, even a Christmas story that you'd like to tell about a dog. And we've also been discussing the Summer Wells case, which I'm on YouTube every night until I narrow down what nights will actually work for everybody. But we are not true crimers. We're discussing the Summer Wells case because of the dogs in the Summer Wells case. And if you've been following it all, you know that I believe these dogs are going to tell a story. And I'm not good at putting links in yet. However, I have put the people that I respect and I get huge content from in my description. So please go check that out. And that is Michelle Walks and Michelle After Dark, The Interview Room, and Grizzly True Crime. So, and remember, everything we say here is speculation. There is an investigation going on, and I do believe that this case is going to start having resolution very shortly. And of course, hey, Steph, hey, girl, hey. I'm really glad you're on tonight. And we're going to pray that that resolution is a positive resolution, right? Christmas miracles. So I wanted to go through some signs of dog aggression. So I'm going to start by talking two hands to paws. First of all, I want to thank my absolutely amazing staff for doing such a tremendous job over the holidays. And we are a large staff with a core base, and we definitely wound up shorthanded. But I got to tell you what, well done. Well done. What a great, loving, dog conscientious, wonderful group they were. They are, past tense, right? They are. So absolutely outstanding. And please check out our reels. If you don't follow the Hands to Paws Facebook page, please jump over to it because I think you will really enjoy it. I enjoy creating the content for it, and I'd like to give Sky credit for the other content for it. There are two of us that create the content for that page. But please go over and enjoy the dogs. Those are most of those reels that you see are our team and are the dogs that go in and out of our salon. And I often go live from Hands to Paws also. And I am Claudia. I'm 38 years in the business, and I studied at Purdue University for their dog behavior program. I owned a dog training positive reinforcement company called Heavenly Hounds in Fort Lauderdale. And I've worked for major corporations where I have run either their grooming departments and or their grooming and training departments. And I'm pretty well versed in dogs. So I wanted to go through some protective behaviors. When the dogs are walking, most of the dogs that walk in Hands to Paws absolutely adore the environment. And I'm going to tell you one of the main reasons that is. And it's because we allow the parent to come in and put their dog in their own kennel if the dog is displaying what is termed separation anxiety. Okay. When they come in and get their nails done and they're experiencing stress and the cortisol level is being dumped in their brains and they're quivering, we allow their parents to come and stand with them to soothe them and to comfort them during this experience. Often the parent is actually getting a little training lesson because we'll discuss reinforcement between the dog quivering and the owner going, oh, it's okay, which is very comforting. It's okay. However, we want the behavior to be being still and allowing us to do the nails, which is critical, right? I've done lots of videos on nails. So it's very critical. So often we'll say, hey, if the dog's giving you a little bit of a hard time, the most reinforcing thing is you. And if you just take that reinforcement away for a second when they're doing the quiver, and when they calm down, you come in and give that great cuddle, you wind up reinforcing the behavior that you actually want. If you can take that home, you are going to succeed in so many great communication with your dog. Speaking of great communication with your dog, so separation, let me stay where I was. Separation when coming into a salon, the dog, it doesn't want to be separated from their human. And a lot of times the human is comforting the dog, which is reinforcing that behavior, right? Which is filling a need. And that's okay. That dog is there to be your companion. That is your relationship. You guard it and protect it. That is your BFF. But they're doing that. You're reinforcing it. It's causing a little of anxiety. Most of the dogs absolutely adore coming into Hands to Paws and run in. In fact, their owners make comments about it all the time. So, but that isn't normal for a dog going into a grooming salon. And sometimes, it's also a sign if a dog really doesn't want to go in. But here's what I have to tell you. I never know what's going on in somebody's home. Dogs are super sensitive. If there's been a crisis at the home, if the person is having a lot of anxiety, if there's an illness, the dog may not want to be separated from their owner. So you really have to have some discernment when you're looking at these scenarios. And you have to have a pet parent that is willing to look at what's going on and see how that may be affecting the dog. Got me so far? Following me here? So one way that we can absolutely create aggression is by putting your dog on a leash and becoming very tense and tight and reacting. Watch my body language now, okay? So there's something, and I'm nervous, and that leash is gonna become an umbilical cord to what I'm feeling. Does that make sense to everybody? So if I wanted to create aggression, I would do something called resistance, and I would go to the end of that collar, and I would have that dog be at the end of that collar and resist me so I can help create an aggression. Okay, that's how. Bam! Oh, come on, baby. I don't like it. Right? So you're gonna create aggression, and you'll find that dogs on leash will tend to be more aggressive and or territorial. And it's something that I'm not going to give. That's about the most of the content I'm going to give about that tonight. But it's just something that I want to plant in your head for you to be very, very aware of. Dogs off leash have way less arguments and will get along a lot better. But when a dog's being protective, or what are some of the signs of that? Well, aggression is obviously a sign, right? Aggression can also be a huge sign of fear. So aggression, again, you have to have discernment. So what does aggression actually look like? Aggression looks very confident. Aggression has a really strong tail, and aggression is, you got me, buddy? What's up, dog? Okay, it's straight at you. And a more fearful dog, or a dog that's being aggressive but really doesn't want to battle, will keep 4 on the floor. And again, I'm not going to do a lot of content over this tonight. I'm just going to put a little couple of things in perspective. A dog that is escalated, right? Because the things will start here, and then it'll go here, and then it'll go here. This is just the nature of the game, and then it'll go here. So a dog that is escalated to a certain level will then start to jump up and bite. Once you've got this motion going on, bam, 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 you're in a very dangerous situation. You have a dog that's willing to come up and get whatever they need to get to be aggressive. So, okay, just wanted to clarify that. You may not be in so much trouble if the dog still has 4 on the floor, but once that dog is reaching up and going this way, it is a really potentially dangerous situation. What else is a protective sign that there's a problem with a human being, right? So you know aggression, right? That one's easy. Easy. Not so subtle. Right out there. Another is reluctance to go near a person. So you know your dog's basic temperament. If a dog all of a sudden, again, dogs speak in body language. Listen to your dogs. How do you listen to your dogs? You don't have to use your words at all. You do not need to use your dog. Your dog knows the flutter of your eye. Your dog knows the cues down to the turning. Wait, let me do this. I did a live on this. Down to where eye direction your eyes are going. You do not need this. This empowers humans. Now, they do speak. They have tones in their bark, and they're talking in body language all the time. So reluctance, a very friendly dog that would be very reluctant to go to somebody, pay attention, okay? They may not be aggressive. They might have a much softer personality, but if they are all of a sudden, as the behavioral panels say when they're speaking about human beings, what is their baseline? What is the baseline of that dog? Did that baseline change? Are you watching for the signals? Are you listening to your dogs? Because they have lots to tell you. As in the case that we're discussing, the dogs know the story. The dogs know the truth. That girl, that she raised those puppies, They know what happened. Backing away from somebody is a sign. Okay. So do dogs know that some bad people? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you know how to listen, they'll let you know. Okay. Especially if you have good, trusting communication. Okay. Listen to your dogs. Backing away from somebody. Again, you need to know the dog's baseline. This isn't every dog. Of a very abused dog that has had a lot of trauma might naturally back away. I have a dog that had some trauma and he's sketchy, right? So whoa, baby, what are you doing? You trying to pet me? So, but I know his baseline, okay? And sometimes it's just like embarrassing because I'm Claudia and I'm the dog lady and my dog should be super friendly. But I don't always want a super friendly dog. Kind of like I don't know who you are. A base, so you got to know the dog's baseline. All of a sudden, fearful behavior. That's another sign. So, and I'm gonna stomp on that one because that's quite a bit of content right there. And then I'm going to go to a story. As a dog trainer in Fort Lauderdale, positive reinforcement dog trainer, I had the most stunning golden retriever in my class who became aggressive every time a leash was put in his father's hands. The behavior change was extreme. And as a trainer, I understood that signal, even though this man was very, very composed and a very strong personality and a professional, I understood that he was sending that signal right down that leash. Because if I took that dog or my assistant trainer took that dog, he was unbelievably amazing. It was incredibly concerning because the dog almost became dangerous when his father had a leash in the house. They asked me to do home visits with them. They had another dog, and the other dog was a German Shepherd. So, and they're both were stunning. These were people that had a lot of money. When I went into the house, the German Shepherd and the Golden Retriever would hide, wouldn't come up and greet. They knew me. They would hide behind the furniture. And it would take a good 15 minutes to coax them out and to entice them in the wonderful act of training, which is nothing but enjoyable. Keeping in mind that I specialized in children and dogs, and I specialized in aggression and dogs. And the children would have a wonderful time training the dog. But if the father came home, would you like to know where the dogs went? Right behind the chairs. Not only did they go back behind the chairs, there was no more coaxing them out. The whole household got quiet and orderly and well behaved. And I became awkward and uncomfortable and got incredibly bad vibes. I really, really, they're very church going people, really liked the woman and the children. And I didn't want to give up on them. I'm going to add my sister to the live stream in a minute. It was about the fourth visit in, and I think I had just arrived and the children weren't home that day. And the mom was home. And she was a victim, and her children were a victim of extreme DV is what we say on YouTube because we can't say the words. DV. And she was hysterical. And I was a young woman, so I didn't know the right things to say to her other than to listen. After that conversation, the father asked me not to come back, and he stiffed me on my money. However, that experience and other experiences I had as a trainer, which I will eventually bring in, was incredibly powerful, because I want to let you know the dogs were telling the story the whole time. Now, if that man became incredibly aggressive to that woman, remind you, he has a German Shepherd and a golden retriever that is pretty tough. I have other stories about that golden retriever. His name was the Bronx. And would they jump in? And the answer is, if it was volatile enough, yes, their chemistry in their brain could change and they would go into what? Say it for me. Fight or flight. Okay, but it might have to be at them, and it might have to be an extreme situation. Let's bring Nicole on. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, sorry, I'm just trying to get all the skincare for the kids done so I can join your live stream.
That's great. So I just reviewed some signs of signs of protective behavior. 4 short signs. We didn't. I'm going to I'll go into it later, but I just wanted to cover some things. We are streaming on 3 platforms, including Hands to Paws. And I told a very quick story about a couple of dogs that I had in training that were living in a DV situation and the signs that they were showing. So, and I don't have a DV number on tonight. I apologize. I normally, when I speak about, and we should say trauma to alert, that when I speak on subjects, I will have the telephone numbers of the correct people to contact if you find yourself in that kind of situation. And most of these places today will allow a dog. I don't know if they can take multiple dogs, but I know that they have become very, very good about trying not to separate families from their canines. So,
Yeah, maybe we could link it in the comments after the numbers of the 2 local places here. I know not everyone might be from our area, but from Marion and Citrus County, we can link those numbers up because that's important information to have. And I had thought that at some point one of the shelters would take pets for you if you were in that situation, but maybe that's something I can look into tomorrow.
yeah, that's like really your expertise area. So if you could do that homework and all you got to do is put it in the comments, that would be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the only time that I've had that where I'm just getting good. I don't know how to link things yet. We'll figure it out.
Or they can
However,
always reach out to one of us and we'll get that information. It's confidential. So
yeah. And I wanted to tell those stories. And I also, and if you're herding dogs, which when we go through breeds on these things, because I'm going to do each breed, the first breed we're going to do is the Bull Terrier, because we all love Argo. That's going to be our first breed. And then we're going to go through the different types of signs each breed would display. I have herding dogs, and I'll just tell you right now, herding dogs and golden retrievers are notorious for getting in between you and somebody else. Australian shepherds are notorious for moving you. They will literally push you out of the way. But the main thing I want to say here is listen to the dogs. And how do you do that? I'm going to say this. Communication is everything. Communication is everything. And having great
is always
communication
everything.
and great relationship with your dog is going to give you all the communication skills that you need. So always have exercise dog is a happy tired dog is a happy dog. Tricks. I'm a trick trainer. I love children. When I tell you I specialize with children, I specialize with children and I taught them how to teach their dogs trick. I love a dog with a trick. It will always keep them at home. You can lose your home. There can be a tragedy. If your dog wound up in the Humane Society, the dog that knows a couple of tricks is going to get looked at first. Give them the chance of life and teach them a trick. By the way, your smile and laughter, and remember what I said in the beginning, they can see when your eyes move. They are so in tune to your body language. When someone bad comes around, they are in tune to their body language. They are not listening to the gift of gab. They are
Right.
listening to, as my behavioral panel would say, micro expressions, eye expressions, hand expressions, and how the body moves, how the eyes are moving, and what is happening. Okay? Listen to your dogs. The other is to teach them self-control, and that is by commands. Commands don't have to be boring. Sit down, stay can be repetitive, but it is powerful in your communicating with your dog when you need them to have certain skills. As we'll do more content on, but we have done content on a dog jumping and how you keep 4 on the floor. So I wanted to touch on that a
I think
little
I
bit
missed some good
tonight.
content.
Yeah, and it's Christmas, and it's right before Christmas. So we're praying for a Christmas miracle. I listened to, I spoke last. If you find that you have a dog that you've been through, first of all, your puppy didn't lose or forget any of the puppy training that you did. Okay. They just didn't have the self-maturity and the self-control. They did not forget it. So don't think anything you've laid down won't come around. And I listened to if there's a hole in the training, right? If you're in baby basics 101, you're in kindergarten with your dog, and then you go to first and second and third and fourth grade until you get to college and you graduate, and there's a skill that this dog just can't achieve. The rule is to go all the way backwards and start all over again. You're going to do a quantum leap. Don't worry about it. Go through all your baby basic skills. Find where that hole is, and you're going to find that you've had this quantum leap, and all of a sudden everything comes together, and it's amazing. Hey guys, I don't know if my comments are working tonight, but shout out, give us comments. If you have anything to say, jump on in. So tonight I listened to Jody Sue. This is from the Summer Wells case. This child is missing 6 months. The reason we discussed Summer Wells is because there are 20 plus dogs on the property, and the night she went missing, they were quiet. So I went back and I listened to, which was emotional, and I want to warn anybody that if you watch this, and it's Jody Sue at the creek, says she doesn't believe the boys are involved, and I should have written that in the thing, and please forgive me. I'm up at 5 a.m. Hands to paws has been knee deep, literally in dogs. I was bathing dogs all day, giving all my love, and then I was doing towels for dogs all afternoon. And
It sounds like you need a break.
Girl.
Yeah, it sounds like you need a break.
It's okay. It's okay. So, and I enjoy doing, I'm trying to build this YouTube channel, and I enjoy giving the content. So
you were talking about
to Jody Sue, but I do want to warn anybody that she is going to speak a little bit. She's going to touch on DV, and she's going to speak about the day that this child went missing, and where were these dogs? Well, she corroborates a story that the dogs were silent, which is very odd for 20 dogs. And we have also discussed packs within packs and mother dogs, and why that scenario would be really, really weird.
Yeah.
So the piece of information, which I think is a very critical piece of information, is, and it's one little sentence that Jody Sue says. It's one little sentence. And they're in rural Tennessee. So if you're just joining in and you don't know anything, I'm not going to go through the whole story tonight because it's right before Christmas and I'm just trying to deliver. Pay attention to your dogs, listen to your dogs. The holidays, people are distracted. There's alcohol going around.
Yeah.
I want to make sure everybody's safe. I want to make sure that dogs are safe. I want to make sure, not make sure like I have any control over that, but give good advice on how to know when you're safe, and that your dog will always alert you if you listen. Okay? An alert can look different, very different, depending on that dog's temperament and baseline, right? But if
Yes.
you know what you're looking for, as I was listening to Jody say, and I will warn that there's some trauma in that because it's right after this child goes missing. And again, she speaks about, she is a DV victim and she speaks on it. We also discussed Michelle discussing people on YouTube, some of them not being responsible and putting out content that could create an angry situation and could create a DV situation. So we want to be very cognizant of that. But your dog could alert you. If a predator is around, if somebody has ill intent, if somebody has up to no good and you have your dog around, if you can listen to your dog, if you have that good communication, if you can get away from this, get this power out of there. I know all this stuff and I'm going, hold up. I need to get that power out of there, and actions. Y'all heard it, right? You've all said it. Actions speak louder than words. Your dog is doing that every single day. They are speaking no shame and in their truth. And the organism will do what the organism knows how to do. Got that from the behavioral panel too. Bam. What's up, dog? So Jody Sue is one little sentence, and it's a part where the child is missing and their country, which I think is brilliant because they're just in tune to different things than us city girls were ever raised with. She takes her shoes off. She goes in a creek because she can feel the bottom of the creek. And she describes when the police arrive. So our question has been, where did all these dogs go? And we have other questions besides that, but tonight we're also on hands to paws. So where did the dogs go? Well, she says the critical thing. She hears the police arriving. It's one sentence, and the dogs howl.
So they were there.
So they were there. So they were there. So that'll bring us back to the question of, did the police have to kennel a few dogs? And were they very quiet? Because I remember I discussed howling and the different reasons why a dog would howl. One of those reasons would be grief. Were they cognizant that something terrible had happened? So I'm just going to leave it at that tonight. Nicole, will you give your credentials and why it's important that you're here when we discuss DV or
well, I had formerly been a mental health case manager for many, many years. When I moved to Florida, I went to work as a DCF case manager for about 3 years. Then I transferred to teaching. I'm a special ed teacher now, and I also do skincare and makeup. on the side of that. Not a makeup artist, but I sell it and I wear it and I love it. So I believe my credentials in this case, obviously not animal related, but maybe more behavior and case management related and people related, because I've always worked with people in some form.
Hey, thanks, Steph. She said, way to go, girl. What's up, dog?
Hi,
Capital W,
Stephanie.
capital U, capital D. What?
Yeah, I've had some
Um,
friends looking for the channel, so I referred them over to your page.
yeah, the channel is really, really hard to find right now. We're getting building a community through streaming on the 3 platforms, and we're streaming through StreamYard. So if this is something that you are interested in doing, and StreamYard's super easy. I've had a wonderful time. I used Zoom before this, and I had a really hard time. And now I'm very proficient in Zoom. But then I follow Think Media, and I think they deliver amazing content, and they speak about how to deliver content. And I follow them and I listen to them. And you say, when do you have time to do this? I'll tell you, when I'm working, they're in my head, phones. When I'm driving back and forth to places, if I can get, 15, 20 minutes in, and I do it consistently, because practice makes perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll get better and better at doing these, the more we do them. And I have a full setup that I'm trying to get. Obviously, I have a lot up in the air. And right now with the holidays, I just really want to wish everybody a great holiday and keep their children safe.
Mm-hmm.
I am a specialist in dog behavior, and I am a specialist trainer with children, and aggression, fight or flight in dogs happens to be a specialty. I have not invited other guests on, because Nicole and I had made a commitment to be on every night through Christmas. How have we done, guys?
We've done pretty good, and I was late, but I was here. I showed up.
Yep. And we have not streamed on Saturday night. But we came on, we said that's what we're going to do, because the holidays also can bring trauma. They can bring, people are grieving. It's been a very active 2 years,
Yeah,
and people may be adopting dogs. And
yeah.
we wanted to keep dogs safe, and we wanted to give a platform where just real life, guys, just real life. Almost, well, if you have a dog, I don't really have any friends that don't have dogs. I mean, really, if you say to me you're not a dog person, we're probably not a good match, because I'm such a dog person. But, if you love dogs, we're just bringing it real and for real. We're real, for
We are
real,
real. I
for
am
real.
definitely, nobody can ever say I'm not real when I'm live.
Jody Sue, on her video when I was watching it, which, like I said, be very cognizant, it is emotional because it's so fresh. And she was, she, this is personal to her. She personally knew this child. Though I feel like she's become, like, a little America's child. And the reason we've been discussing her is because of the amount of dogs. But Jody Sue, and I wrote this down because I thought this was really cute, because I do prepare for this. I'm very serious in my old age. My business meetings, I'm insulted when somebody isn't prepared. I'm always prepared for what it is that I want to communicate. But she said, I thought this was so cute. She called the people coming on the property, as she describes what happens after Summer goes missing, but she called them, and they're very rural Tennessee. So let me preface with that. They are on a mountain, literally on a mountain. Nicole and I happen to relate to that really well, because Nicole, what was the mountain that Chuck lived on? Who's my
Andes,
stepfather, Nicole's father?
Andes, Andes Mountain, Andes.
Andes Mountain.
Yep.
So I
Yeah,
I
you know,
didn't live on Andy's Mountain. He
I
had,
lived there for a while, and I never forget Claudia came up. This is totally off the subject, forgive me. She came up to visit, and this was before MapQuest. This was before you had something like a GPS on the phone, and Claudia and I were always lost. And I think someone gave us directions. He said, go past that curve and go past that mountain and make a right. And we're like, but that's all there is, are curves and mountains. That's very non-specific to those of us who are directionally challenged. But anyway,
yeah, that's a
yes,
great story. Andy's Mountain. So really, a mountain, and there's nobody else on mountains.
nobody.
And that mountain was so unbelievably beautiful,
Yeah.
and it had a creek outside.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the days. You don't
Yep.
appreciate them until they're over.
I appreciated it. I thought it was the most beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Of course, I would have had a million dogs. Um,
Yeah, then they
so
weren't dog people.
they weren't dog people,
No.
not at all, not at all. But they were. She was an artist,
Yep.
and they were living and my who raised me from 5 and is Nicole's natural father was a PhD in physics. So he didn't raise any dummies, guys.
Nope.
So and he taught us some phenomenal, phenomenal things. And our mother is also incredibly interesting. And I will tomorrow night. I have. Did I show you this picture, Nicole? Where I pulled this picture out and I went, "Oh my God, is that my mom or is
You
that me?"
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to put it away. I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
God." So our mother, also, I have lots of dog stories with mom. Some of them I will have to give trauma alerts to too.
Mom
So,
was a
but
dog person.
yep, I did want to
Mhm.
say there was a howl, and it's one sentence going all the way back and revisiting. And I have to search for this, guys. And when do I have time for that? Well, I found this content tonight, folding the towels for the dogs tomorrow.
Now, was Jody Sue, remind me, was she the grandmother who lived there
No,
on the campus?
Jody Sue is not the grandmother.
She the neighbor?
Jody Sue is the neighbor,
The
uh,
neighbor. Okay.
the direct neighbor who has since moved because she left a DV situation with her children. This was very traumatizing. And in that, she shares some of the DV that was thrown at her and her daughter, blaming, like they neglected to do something for summer. So that's why I want to give a trauma alert. If you are going to watch that, you might want to wait until after Saturday, because it is the holidays and we're supposed to be happy. And I'm not, I'm going to see my sister, but it's going to be the first year where I don't have my grandchildren and my full immediate family around me, because now they're extended because they have lives and families of their own, but I will see them right after the holidays. I have been super dedicated and to the dogs all season, and I was, I love the dogs. So, and we want all those dogs to be delicious and great and go home and spread all their love, because they're touching lives every day. I'm going to tell you one more cute story. I do a little older dog. His name is Boomer. And Boomer and I have been working with each other, and he can be mean. If he doesn't like something you do, he's not playing with you. He's just going to bite you. And he came in, and he hasn't been in a little while. And he came in to get his Christmas bath. And I have a very large tub that a dog they have ramps so they can literally walk up. It's super easy for them. The big dogs just love it. They're like, "Oh God, thank you." And so, they just step up in their tub. And then it's got a little shelf for the little guys, so you can put them so they're more at the level, so you're not bending into this deep tub. And I had him in the deeper part while I was setting up the shelf part, right? So he would be safe because he's a little old guy, and he'd be safe. And I was setting up all our organic shampoos and his blueberry face wash and getting all his ear cleaner and everything ready for him. And I just got it set up. Now, did I tell you that Boomer was cantankerous?
Mm-hmm. You did.
I wouldn't even have told you that I thought Boomer liked me. I would have told you Boomer respected me, but I wouldn't have said, Boomer loved me and missed me. Well, that little guy was down there, and as soon as I was done setting up the shelf, I didn't even know he could spring like that. I didn't know he had that kind of energy still left in him. He literally went from that deeper part and sprung up to the shelf part at Nicole. It was the cutest thing ever. And threw his little shoulders back and threw his head out and was like, "Thank you, baby." So, and a lot of that might be like our ear cleaner is soothing. They feel so good. Or it might have just been the relationship, but I have not stopped talking about it.
That's adorable.
Yeah. So we're going to end it here tonight. Unless you have anything, Nicole, I shouldn't do that. I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to clarify who Jody Sue was, and I'm kind of glad that you said that because that was one of our questions. So now we know there was a Howl.
We know that and it's great because she's not talking about the dogs at all. She's telling her story. And
Right.
in that story, Jody Sue's very much an animal lover, as are the Wells. I don't believe the Wells aren't animal lovers. I believe that they were very nurtured by these dogs as part of, their lives. And Jody Sue's very aware of her things, of her surroundings around her. And it's just, unconsciously when she's telling the story, she's talking about how she knows when the police arrive. And we'll do this for another night of content. She also speaks about how hard it was for people that have addiction issues or might have people that are doing illegal activities coming over to the house for them even to call the police, right? So
right.
she, one of her reasons that she knows that the police arrive was dogs howl, which she says very unconsciously and continues on with her story, except my perception is always dogs, just like the interview room video where it's all dogs, which I'll speak way more about that because that has 5 days worth of content in it alone on dog behavior. So we'll go through that no matter whether there's resolution quickly or it takes longer, because investigations done thoroughly can take a very long period of time. And we are believing, because miracles do happen, for a miracle.
Summer Wells, yep.
Yep. And we are committed. If you want to follow What's Up Dog, capital W, capital U, capital D, like a dog named Wood, we will have all sorts of content concerning dogs, and we will touch on any true crime case that a dog is involved, because we're, about dogs. And we will bring you all sorts of content in dogs and children and the relationships and why these relationships are so important. But
okay,
I'm starting now because I'm tired. I need to go to bed.
Okay, go to bed.
See you tomorrow night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.